discussion about the project with your site. And we represent our department. Actually, on a daily basis, I'm interested in risk management, in supply chain and CSR strategies in supply chain. So we are closely connected with the supply chain perspective. The market is...
I'm focused on logistics service providers. They activities,
marketing
activities mostly, because I did my PhD in marketing.
That's good in marketing. Okay, so that's our presentation. Problem is that I cannot see that from the perspective. Okay, I will try to do it somehow. So this is our agenda. First part is mine, and second part is from Martin. So let's skip it. Then we've decided to start from the macroeconomic data, because we are highly influenced, as a logistics sector in Poland is highly influenced by the whole Polish economy, and moreover mostly by European Union economy. This is very important, but not little about it. I will give you a simple fact that we've got some statistics that are not here about the structure of our exports and imports, and about 40% of exports and imports is between us and Germany. So we are highly connected with our dependent with our countries. Yes. Well, that's the fact. And then we've also looked at some percentages connected with countries from V4, and altogether us and Slovakia and Hungary and Czech Republic, that exports and imports percentage is about less than 20,000, less than 20% in the structure, 15% in the structure. So you can compare how it works. Of course, we are highly influenced by the former financial crisis, which is still lasts. It's not so intensive, but it still lasts. Yes, exactly. And you can also feel it, because firstly it influences the economy as a whole. All the industries, some of them are very important, like automotive industry, like FMCG industry, etc. And then they of course influence logistic and storage sector. This is pretty obvious. Because we are serving the other industries, that's how it works. So it's not so bad. It used to be a little bit worse in 2009 and 2010. We have a relatively high rate of unemployment. So as far as I have heard from a guy from Hungary, yes, you have 8 or 9. Yes, so we have 10%, so 13, 14, something like that. But it gets better, so we hope it will be better. And we have some data about GDP, which fortunately still grows. So that's not bad, because in the whole European Union, as you know, it was an absolute collapse, so it was a disaster. So maybe there are not huge percentages, because then you can also see the rate, the change from one year to another. So maybe the changes are not impressive ones, but it's constantly growth. That's the most important thing. So we have not stuck. And then there is some information about exports, and here you can have the sales revenues from the sector, which can be called during NACE as transportation and storage. So it grows, but it was relatively worse in 2009, 2010 because of the crisis. And in 2009, 2010, the first collapse came especially for automotive industry. And automotive industry, because of just-in-time, for example, strategies, is highly served by transportation and storage sector. So it was collapse by collapse. Firstly, they had got problems, and immediately in 1 or 2 months, it was a problem in that sector. Okay, then you can see some main information about our logistics sector. Of course, we have LPE information, Logistic Performance Index. So actually, because I have it from the original website from World Bank, I don't know why they've said that this is the rate for 2014, because 2014 is still lasting, so this is strange for me, but that's information from World Bank. Now we are on the 13th position. It's quite stable during the last years. And what more? sector, yes. And actually, our countries, our four countries, of course, we were checking, competition. Our countries are close together. This is Poland, then actually with the same number of points, there is a Czech Republic, then Slovakia, and then Hungary. So we are close together, right? And we got some in last year. We got a little bit increase in tracking because there are six criteria according to which you can be assessed. And in tracking and tracing, we got a significant increase, and in other sectors, it's a little bit slowed down. So actually, that's why I said that the number, the final score is relatively stable. So. Okay, and there you can have some data about our cargo transport and our transit and storage in last 5 years. All the most important facts, numerical factors here are shown in last 5 years to give you some dynamics. Okay, so as you can see, it grows. Maybe it's not a impressive growth mostly because of the financial problems in Europe, but it works. And also, I have to tell you that there is a report, top 100 the best countries in logistics, which is prepared by the Germans, and they said that we are in between 5 countries, which is Switzerland, Norway, Germany, and one more, and Poland, and we are the most, in the opinion of the report authors, we are the most promising country, one of the most promising countries when it comes to logistic market, and the value of our market, because this is about business. The value of our market is about 45 billion of euros.
What is the base of this estimation? What is the base of this estimation on anticipation? How did they calculate on what indexes?
Yes, they've calculated it observing the revenues for the logistics sector, transportation and storage sector in each and every country. And of course, perspective for the future sales. So this is by extrapolation. That's why they produce it like that. I can give you some additional information about it. It will be interesting. So that's quite interesting. I can see that this is here. I was looking where it is because I cannot see it from that perspective. Yes, but this is here. Our LPI, and this is our that report. And Poland is here. It's not impressive. Of course, Germans are, as usual, the best ones. They have absolutely the best LPI for many years, and this is not probably impossible to catch them and to achieve the same level. So we can only envy them. And this is that report. Huh?
In euro?
Yes.
Performance
yes.
in euro?
So this is this is the value in euro.
As a euro.
So, in my opinion, this is quite representative because other numbers sometimes will be in Polish zloty, unfortunately, because, for example, other numbers we have from Polish National Statistical Bureau, so they, of course, are in Polish zloty, unfortunately, but here you have something in euro, and for now, 1 zloty is about more than 4, 1 euro is more than 4 zloty, so you can imagine the numbers, okay? So those numbers are in Polish zloty mostly. Main numbers from Polish National Bureau about each and every mode of transportation, because we can start from the transportation. Here we have, firstly, there we have some information about road transportation, some information also about railways, inland, etc., etc. Actually, we have any kind of transportation mode in Poland, but some of them are more and some of them are less important. In my opinion, this is very difficult to discuss about that, but that another one table is more important, because this is about transport of goods in thousands of tons and of course transport performance. So that's very important. As you can see, mainly we can say that the only transportation mode which grows in last very difficult times is of course road transportation. Road transportation is about 70 in the structure of all transportation modes, in the structure of revenues, in the structure of ton kilometers, etc. It's about 70% of the whole revenues from the transport. So that's the most important, of course, mode of transportation. But we also have maritime, inland, which is right now in a poor condition. That's, for example, we have a stagnation in that transportation. You can see it. The transportation performance relatively slows down, as you can see. And if you will take a look at the longitude, the distance of the whole inland roads, in that kind of transportation, it goes
slow, I think.
Yes. And as you can see, on the infrastructure, it's at the same level.
Yeah.
So there is a kind of stagnation. We have the same situation, unfortunately, in rail transportation. Maybe it's not extremely bad, and we have the main company, which is called PKP Cargo. PKP is Polish National Railways. Now that they are privatized. But and they have revenues, they have even profits. But now it's the time of huge modernization action in Poland, and they are trying to make the infrastructure better, because there are years of during the years they did nothing, and now they're trying to fix it, and it will be really a hard work to do. Okay, so each and every next slide is there's one slide about one transportation mode, because it should be condensed. We don't have time. So what you can see here, there are two maps. There's a current state and planned state for it's about our road infrastructure. We have highways, motorways. Highways are payable, and now the payable roads in Poland, there are 2,190 kilometers of such payable roads. And our road transportation is really very important one. And actually, I can say that we have two engines of transportation and storage sector in Poland. One is road transportation, another one is intermodal transportation, which is very popular nowadays in Poland, and it really grows. And in Europe, when it comes to, as you can see, when it comes to market share of road transportation, we are just next to Germany. So this is about 15% of share in the market. And if it comes to Polish carriers, they have absolutely the best position in the European market. 20% of carriers on the European market are Polish. So that's what you are good in. So that's very nice. Other slides won't be so optimistic. You can see here that we have still lots of work to do with our highways and expressways. But in the last years, somehow, because of Euro 2012 and our main events, it started to grow very rapidly. We got some European Union funds, and really you can see that situation changes, year by year, even month by month. For example, those data are pretty fresh because we have a general directory of roads and GGD, AK and K, whatever. So this is the main office which is responsible for roads in Poland and for information. And you can see that those maps are changing month by month. You can go one month by another on the website, and those maps are constantly different. So the situation changes very rapidly. So that's good, because we have years of doing nothing. So now it's high time to do something with it. Yes, exactly.
By the end of 2020, we should have like 2,000 highways, kilometers.
And as you can see, because I cannot say that the Poland is like round, but mostly by heart-shaped. But actually, the most important connections are north-south and east-west. So we need to achieve finally, if we talk about highways, some kind of a cross, like here. And like here, to connect most important sites. Mostly that cross is achieved. So now we are working mostly on the expressways which are connecting different parts of that cross, and with other parts of the country. That's how it works. Okay, and then we can have that. Of course, we are part of four corridors, four transportation corridors which are in 10th network. Of course, the situation also changes. So here you can have some other options in the corridors. So I would say this is just the main, bone, and after that you can some other directions. So I would say very general, it looks like that in Poland. So we have, of course, connections with Slovakia, with Czech Republic, and of course with Germany. It is very important, and some more eastern countries in Russia also. Yes. This is very, very difficult neighborhood. Yes, and then rail transportation. This is the rail transportation map, and my boss said, "Oh, it looks awful because nobody will see what is going on." I said, "This is not about stations. This is about." I've shown that map here to show you that our rail network is a little bit more condensed and more dense at the western side. This is because our historical roots, because there were times that we were under governance of Germany and Russia. There was no Poland at all, and Austria. And the German part was, of course, Germans. Of course, there were good Wirtschaft, so it was really high developed because they needed those people to work for them, etc. So the infrastructure was really relatively nice developed. The same situation was in the ancient times when there were Romans in some parts, when the Romans were governing, the infrastructure was really nice, and that eastern part is a little bit, poorer, I would say. What do we have? Of course, mostly we have that, I would say, standard width of rails, but we have also some wider rails. And there is a special company governing that rails. This is LHS, so this is Linia Szerokoturowa, so wide rail line which connects us with Russia and other eastern countries. And this is quite a long line which ends somewhere in Upper Silesia. So those trains can go deeply into Poland and then stop in the logistics center somewhere in the Upper Silesia, and then can be changed, the loads can change the mode of transportation, for example. Okay, we have different problems, of course, with rail, so they are very slow. I mean, the cargo can go through Poland approximately 25 kilometers per hour, so this is crazy. This is like, you can get a bicycle, it would be better.
Yeah, but be optimistic. This
Yes.
year we want to start with the high speed network.
But this is passenger. I'm talking about cargo.
You have the same problem.
But we have to admit that nowadays we have problems even as passengers, because there are huge problems with connecting each city with rail, because they are modernized, highly modernized. So they are doing everything they can right now to use funds from European Union as best as possible and just do something with it. So we can even see that, for example, if you will leave your city for a few months and you will come back, everything will change with the roads and rail. So that's okay. So the trend is very good. Okay, now we have maritime transportation, and as you can see, because we have more than 3 ports, but those ports are the most important ones. So this is Gdańsk, this is Gdynia, and actually there are 2 cities, but they have combined infrastructure. So we can say this is Szczecin, Świnoujście at the same time. Typical Polish name. Szczecin, Świnoujście, I know. Sounds hard. The most important is Gdańsk. And very important activity in those ports is, of course, container transfer, container loading, reloading. As you can see, we have 110 ships, and the main ship owner is Polsim. So they have other Polish name, which is Polska Żegluga Morska. Yes. But the international name is Polsim, so you can know them maybe as Polsim. And there is very important information that in Gdańsk they were able in 2013 to exceed 1 million TEU of loads, so of cargo. So it was a historical limit, right? Then we have inland water air transport. Yes, we have something like that, but it's, the infrastructure is relatively poor. Unfortunately, because we have 2 huge rivers. We have Odra, which is at the mostly at the border in between Poland and Germany. So Germans do as they best to do something with it, as usually. So our older brother is smart and do something instead of Polish sometimes, and we have on the somewhere in the middle of Poland, from north and south, we have this Tula River, and this Tula River is the biggest one, and then we have also Warta and Noteć. And on those four rivers we can have inland transportation. We have lakes, but we don't use them actually to the meaningful cargo transportation. And there are some nice canals and useful for inland transportation, especially when we have Gliwice Canal. This is also in Upper Silesia. Upper Silesia is a region in which we came from, and this is one of the highest developed regions in Poland, because this used to be very industrial in the past. So now you can feel that this is really relatively best developed. Okay, then you have container terminals. So what you can see here, this is a map of terminals in Poland. Few of them are very important, and the most important company is once again PKP, so Polish National Railways, but that part, because they are divided on different smaller private companies, and they have all together, because we have now 35 terminals. Some of them are only rail terminals, and some of them are combined intermodal. In that bundle, they have 9. So actually, they are the main operator of terminals in Poland. Some of them are rail, and another one are combined. So the number of terminals, intermodal terminals, is growing, and this is, as far as I've told you, one of the engines of Polish transportation and storage sector. We really believe that this is very important. And storage space in Poland is, yes, that's the area of our economy in which you can see the growth. The number of warehousing space is growing, and also the number of so-called modern space. So modern warehousing space, we call all the closed buildings which have at least 9 meters high. They have at least 5 to 8 office space, and they have special fireproof firefighting devices, etc. So this is modern. We don't have too much of that closed modern warehousing space, but it's relatively growing, and it's, I would say, rapidly growing. And what more? There are perspectives. So actually the situation gets better. It was stuck in 2009, 2010, but we can be not only, this is not only wishful thinking, but we are sure that we will be growing, because we are in a relatively good position on the map between Germany and some eastern countries, so it should work actually somehow. So that we will hope that the future will be bright. And now the time
rapidly after we became member of European Union.
Yes, evidently. So we are highly dependent on European Union countries, but we can also use that dependency.
For example, our storage space between 2005 and 2010 increased 3.6 times.
Yes.
So our market, our warehousing market grew faster than other European.
You can even observe it, because we live in a conurbation. There are different cities in Upper Silesia, and when sometimes you have to move from your city to another one to have lectures, whatever. And when I was driving to other cities like Sosnowiec, etc., there was nothing in between them, some kind of wilderness, sometimes small houses, fields, etc. And now you can see Panatoni, everywhere, so that relatively, you can say that everything changes. So that process is very accelerated. Now it's time for Martin. Thank you.